Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Excellency Esports Light League. We're back bringing you the second set of the night. Like we said before we went to break, ReDefy Unleashed versus Darkside Academy. Now, to kind of give you a little bit of synopsis on the first sets of the night, Darkside has yet to play their actual first set against Merciless, so we don't have quite the report on them yet. But Degenerate Esports versus ReDefy Unleashed did go to a draw. It was not a 2-0 in any which fashion. They both won at least one game.
Yeah, very important to keep in mind that not being able to play their last set is pretty difficult for them. Wait, that's the team that didn't get to play, right?
I apologize. No, Darkside did not get to play. ReDefy did play.
Okay, yeah, Darkside didn't get to play because they had the draw though. Yeah, so they came out without getting. They what?
No, I'm messing with you.
Oh
God,
you're trolling me. This is supposed to be scuffed. Darkside, yeah, they came out without playing their last two games. So while ReDefy had a 1-1, they got to play 2 games out. Darkside didn't get to play their games out, so they are playing from that a little bit more rusty of a position. They're fresh. Sometimes it's a good thing for teams. Sometimes it's bad. We'll have to see which of the latter it is for this team.
Either way, draft is already underway. We're going to be tackling a little bit of the identities of these teams afterwards. But as of right now, the bot lanes have been secured, both incredibly explosive.
Yeah, we ban out the Swain, we ban out the Lucian, we ban out the Kai'Sa, we ban out the Senna. That's 4 bottom lane bans. The only thing left open is Misfortune and Jhin, and both get grabbed. You could technically steal the Misfortune for a support pick with Imperial Mandate. It's been nerfed a few times, but if you did take both those off the boards, ReDefy would have, or Darkside would have nothing left to play. But fortunately for them, they both get those picks. Nautilus, the hard counter to Misfortune Seraphine with the early game aggression to keep them from scaling, and Jhin to complement that team comp. So a very explosive bottom lane so far. Olaf jungle, he's very strong and dominant. Wukong, we saw him last game, not shine too strong, but he is a very good top laner right now.
And just to kind of pin off that real quick, that blank right there, because it is pro draft and it is super duper glitchy, that is actually the Katarina getting taken out. So a little bit of a target ban. Well, she does have strengths, not quite the team comp position that I would have expected.
Yeah, the Seraphine Katarina can be pretty good. Misfortune Katarina is only the combo you run with a Lilia. If you're able to put everybody to sleep, AoE abilities do not wake them up. So Misfortune can land an entire bullet time. Katarina can land an entire Death Lotus without waking anybody up from the sleep. So very destructive team comp, but the Olaf got picked. We're not expecting to see a jungler come through. Maybe saying Olaf can get flex top, still have that Lilia jungle. Can't risk it, but definitely a target ban that isn't really needed in the draft. Still safe to make, though.
Who knows? We're doing our best. We're definitely tackling the knowledge of these teams just as kind of scuffed as you are. Ronan might be the absolute Katarina god that just sweeps through these leagues, so maybe it is a necessary ban, but in the scale of a grand team fight and the prowess of these cohesive teams, maybe not quite the pick. Either way, you've got the side of, of Darkside Academy here, picking through with the Shen, with the response being that Malphite. The mid going to be that Orianna. Wow.
Such a strong team.
That's really...
In 2 picks, that immediately became a absolute force to be reckoned with. You have Seraphine and Malphite to set up, Orianna to sustain and complement the engage, Misfortune to run it through, and Olaf, just being able to charge into. He is a very strong ball delivery system because he can't get CC'd when he uses Ragnarok. He's unstoppable. So he can just walk right through to get that ball into the fight if they need him to do that.
You know what's really crazy? Both of these teams talk about their junglers, so that Olaf is actually considered to be the primary supreme star here of ReDefy. So I'm very interested to see how he pairs through with Orianna, because like you said, that is nearly perfect setup. If we can see the hard 9v1 Olaf come through with a supreme shield engage with the massive shockwave on top of him every single time in that mid to late game, that would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and beautiful to see. We have a pretty solid counter engage. Nautilus has the dredge line. You got Wukong with Cyclone. Shen, he can stand united, come in, AoE blind, land a good taunt, and Galio with Hero's Entrance, getting that huge magic shield, big AoE airborne, shield of Duran, I believe, to get the huge AoE taunt on everybody. A really good return solution to being hard collapsed on if they don't get too far behind early game.
And one thing I'm kind of curious to judge your opinion on, that Wukong looks to be coming through on the jungle of all things, and that's not a standard pick that we've seen. Maybe I'm misinformed at this point, but either way, I'd love to hear what you think on that.
They're asking if we are ready to go in.
Oh, yeah.
I think we are about ready.
No
yes,
worries.
sir, we are. What was the question one more time?
My apologies. It's going to be that Wukong. I'm curious your opinions on that play into the jungle there, because I'm not used to the Wukong being back in the jungle. He hasn't really found success in there in a very long time.
The problem is the Cyclone isn't as good as it used to be. It's half as long of a CC, but you can cast it twice. So overall in a team fight, it's a lot more destructive to have 2 interrupts you can pick when you want them. But he's not a bad jungler. He has a lot of damage. His clear is decently healthy, especially with the clone now attacking the camps, being able to apply the burn on everybody. It's just more so he's not really able to dominate any tier junglers for the Scuttle Crab contests. His early Drake is okay. And his post 6 ganks are pretty solid, definitely better than, an Olaf would have, just throwing his undertow at you over and over again and slowing you. But it's definitely not tier because he is going to lose all of these early game objectives to Olaf. The 5-minute Drake, the double scuttles, maybe even getting counter jungled. He's going to have to just survive into late game. But if he can, it could be a very solid pick for them.
Right. I could see that being one of the sustained engages that could find its way into that backline and kind of disrupt them getting their full wombo combo that I'm really excited to see off. So he has his use, but like you said, he's playing at a deficit for the early game. I just hope that Breezy Bay, which is considered to be their primary star, doesn't find too much success in all that time that Adrenaline lets him slip through. But I will say, on the same line of thinking, just to let y'all know, Darkside has also pinned their jungler as being their primary star here. So tonight, we're going to be seeing the jungle v jungle matchup. Who's the better jungler here? Because both teams think they've got him hot.
Yeah, they did, but they did definitely say that they are very strong across the map. The ReDefy Unleashed said that they like to break the meta with their drafting, but this is the meta to a T. Very hard team comp. Maybe they tried to break it before. It didn't work out too well for them. I can't say, but this is not a meta breaking draft. It is a beautifully perfect, well-rounded meta draft here. And Olaf is in a good position with it. Wukong, a little bit weaker, but each lane has CC to complement a gank from him. So top lane, Shenton. Mid lane, Galio. Bottom lane, Nautilus and Jhin. He can gank across the board and get really fed if those work for him.
Right, and you definitely have some mobile positioners across the board to play around with. Orianna's not going to be able to really jump out of it if she gets into an instant knock-up with the Cyclone. Same with Seraphine. Misfortune's got a little bit of the mobility on the speed there with the activation, but that's not really something that's going to deny the force. So at the end of the day, I can see Adrenaline finding paths, like you said, into these lanes, pairing through with his team. And I'm interested to see actually how well he's able to cohesively work with each of the members. Does he find greater success with a Narrow? Is it the bot lane? Does he make his ganks there with Wizward? Now, of course, we're looking at which lane's easiest to gank, of course, in that response. But I see if it's more of the Adrenaline to go for the solo within my game or to enable my team. People want to see the enabler to say he can't be an absolute stud on the monkey itself. I mean, I don't see no Godzilla on the map.
Yeah, definitely. I do want to point out that they also said Wizward, their AD carry, playing Jhin, is a very competent player. It is Adrenaline with Wukong and Wizward playing Jhin that carries this game. Having Jhin, Nautilus, in this bottom lane against Misfortune Seraphine, it's possible Wukong just keeps ganking bottom side over and over and over again, plays the strong bot lane, and whether he gets the kill or Jhin gets the kill, it won't matter because they are running a double funnel comp. Wukong's going to be building a lot more damage, probably the Trinity Force instead of Gore Drinker, because you have Shen and Galio in this more supportive line. So their two carries are AD into Olaf Malphite, which is rough, but have the funnel comp to support that playstyle.
Right. So we'll be taking a look at that one as it continues to evolve. I mean, these teams have yet to really stand for themselves and show what their power really lies in. I'm seeing a lot of similarities, especially after looking last game when we saw Shadowblade Slash versus Divine Ascension Obsidian. But either way, we'll see who's the really supreme carry and pillar. I want to look, though, and kind of just touch on before we go the enabling here from the side of Darkside. I think we talk a lot about the Wombo combo, right? And that's going to be a huge, huge deal. But the cancellation that does enable across the board is something that's available for Darkside to definitely punish with if they get the opportunity. It's a bit more single target focused in comparison to the massive AoE, so it's not as strong, but it could lead to them finding their way into this game.
Yeah, in complement of that too, they are not an ultimate based team comp as much as ReDefy is. Without ultimates, ReDefy doesn't have a lot of fight pressure. If Malphite whiffs his unstoppable force, doesn't hit anybody, or maybe just hits a Shen or Galio, Orianna messes up the shockwave, Olaf dies a little bit early. Any of these circumstances could really put them in a dangerous position. But in the same way, any of those done correctly can put them in a very positive position over any objective. Jin's a perfect pick to play in the back line. You have a huge front line. So it's really going to be up to these players to make either of these comps work. Both drafts are amazing and very strong. So I'm very excited to get into this game.
Right. Me too. We're going to be doing we're going to be going to that short delay, get everything wrapped, start to approach. Stick around and soon for what will be the start and set here at Excellent Sports. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Excellency Esports Light League. If you're just joining us, we're bringing you ReDefy Unleashed versus Darkside Academy as our second set of the night. I'm your play-by-play caster, Zephyr, and joined by the lovely Coach O'Bubby as my color. And right off the bat, all five awry, just on the opposite sides of the map. Gotta feel bad.
Yeah, definitely a little bit missed. I would say this gank is in Nautilus's. This is in Nautilus's favor quite a bit. Seraphine can start with her E, land the double snare from her beat drop. Can even hit up to 5 people with it, but
can you hit 5,000 units away? I'm not quite sure.
Almost feels like it when you play against the Seraphine, but not quite. They're gonna both invade each other's red buffs. Neither of them dropped a pre-scouting ward to make sure that they were safe, and they're gonna both
this is actually a meme. I hope you know this. This is hilarious. I'm glad they're getting vision out so they benefit in some way, but that is the funniest thing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, Shen might be walking topside into his own death, though, as he's going to be checking their red buff just in case, and he doesn't have a ward, so he might have to face check it. He's got it out.
Breezy and Phantom are in great position here to punish, too, so he's going to be spotting them right about there. The vision actually protected him. Danny's pushing him away. They're going to run back to their lane, it feels like. Nothing crazy, and I actually think, yeah, Padawan's going to get a better trade off of that. That's... okay. I mean, I expected it. It's Shen early, but whoa.
Yeah, pretty strong trade. He's able to just get the grasp off because he got hit early on. But
strong trades. Nah, never mind. I got hook god. Who cares?
I was gonna say Nautilus lands a hook, puts some damage down, but with the dredge line, Jin doesn't have his snare just yet, so he doesn't do much. But fighting top, mid, and bottom right now.
We talk a lot about the aggression of these teams. I'm not quite sure which one it was. If I may have just
Academy.
Yeah, Darkside did discuss a lot about playing aggressive, like across the board consistently, and we're seeing exactly that. I mean, punishing mid, bot, top, all across, and just pushing these laves in super hard.
Yeah, they're making Olaf's job pretty easy, shoving in all these lanes as Olaf is in a position behind the Shen right now.
Danny's
with the red buff at level 3.
That's a good taunt into that big flash to follow up. Padawan has the flash if he wants to, but that's so short. Breezy Bay with a great gank pairing in that first blood for Danny Phantom.
Yeah, what looked so promising for Shen ended up backfiring. Flash for flash trade, but Malphite picks up the first blood. I would have liked to see it on the Olaf, but getting that extra 400 gold could make a big difference for Malphite. He might not get as zoned out this time, and looks like Breezy Bay's job is cut out for him as every lane is pushing, making these ganks super easy. Padawan also forgetting that he scouted him out, taking his red buff, so he possibly did a full vertical clear and was behind him still.
Wait a second. Padawan not learning from his mistakes at all, still pushing it just as hard straight into Breezy Blade. He hadn't left, he was just taking Scuttler, man. Now Padawan absolutely punished out there, and that kill this time lands onto the Olaf.
Yeah, it's hard to be a really aggressive team when you don't have wards. You can't say that Shen needed a ward because he used his ward when scouting this bottom side. He didn't have it up yet, but you would think after you just got ganked, Scuttle's on the board, what else is Olaf going to do? Flash gets burned mid lane, though, as Oriana has to be really safe, knowing that Wukong and Galio did have a pinch on her.
But yeah, much to your point, you know you just got ganked. You know Scuttler just came up if you're paying attention to timers. It's safe to assume that Breezy Bay is definitely within that area, and the first thing you do, and granted the wave was not in a great place for him, it was definitely pushing automatically there, but he's still definitely, like right now, is playing very forward into Phantom. Granted, he has a ward this time around, so, you know, a little bit safer, but Breezy's still, like, on top side, all right?
Yeah, he should be playing Vi because he's saying when you hit a wall, hit it hard. Keep doing the same thing until it works. And gank number 3 being looked at here by Olaf. If Shen decides to try and turn this, he is down a flash. Olaf still has his own, but he hasn't based yet, so he's going to make the smart decision with his 1,600 gold in the pocket to base, pick up a spiked whip. And a
Iron
longsword.
Spike, Whip, and a Longsword. That is an absurd amount of damage to find yourself in. And we talked about early how Breezy Bay is considered one of the primary carries here for ReDefy Unleashed. And it's already looking good for him, sitting at the extra kill in the top side and the kill for himself, you know? I'm curious to see now what he does and extends that lead. He hasn't even gotten Ragnarok yet. Ooh, bot lane, good route into the dredge line, but that's a double stun in response there. Pub and Wizard now looking bad as Amethyst pulls through with the heal as the exhaust comes out there. Can't quite find that kill on the Jhin, but that is an incredible trade in their favor.
Yeah, both sums on both sides were blown. Flash from Jhin, Ignite from Nautilus, Heal from MF, and Exhaust from the Seraphine. So Miss Fortune comes out ahead because she still has the Flash. Seraphine still has the Flash. They're able to play aggressively and defensively, having that summoner advantage. Wizward playing aggressive, also being the second star player for their team, not able to find anything, and Adrenaline on Wukong not finding a single gank yet either. They're having a hard time matching Breezy Bay's aggression when they're the ones picking these fights.
Right. At the same time, you see that there, Breezy Bay finds that dragon. We talked about in draft how he has the access to go for these drakes far early than Adrenaline has the ability to. So he's already stacking that lead in his favor as well. And we just saw he was stealing camps on Wukong's side there, then made the rotation back to his jungle. I mean, that is a wonderful amount of play.
Yeah, two ganks, almost three, and a counter.
Double taunt in the bot lane, comes through with the wins, pump out the damage. Big flash from Amethyst there. He does have Stand United. No, my apologies. No, he doesn't. Either way, Adrenaline finds that kills. He goes under turret, gonna be healed up, but the turret still does more damage. Evo and Nero, too deep. That's gotta feel really bad. Double death to the turret.
Well, when you say you are an aggressive team, you are not making an understatement if you are Darkside Academy, because this is pure aggression. It didn't work this time, but having these ultimates up, it could work next time they have the Stand United on Shen. This time he wasn't able to cast it, but if he was able to get the shield on Galio, maybe the shield on Wukong, it could have gone different for them.
Right. That was my mistake there. I thought he did have that up after he saw the shielding, but it wasn't quite the right analysis. Either way, I'm interested to see how he can make that play through. But Shen, once again, finding himself in a poor position here. Breezy Bay just hovering, shadowing this lane constantly. There is the unstoppable. Finding his way as Padawan's under turret here. There's the chase with the Ragnarok. Oh, right. I did not expect her to do that much damage. And he canceled the auto.
Oh my. I'm in a little bit of shock from that play. That was so
he canceled the auto,
favorable. Bubby. That was so favorable for ReDefy Unleashed, and they didn't get it. It backfired, and Shen gets his kill. It's not shut down, but it feels good for them.
Did you see the absolute just chunk of damage that disappeared from Breezy? Yeah. I didn't think he was gonna die. I thought he at least had at least one turn on his belt, but the combined magic penetration there from the additional Q damage from Padawan, okay, great job. Ooh, my brain's out.
Yeah. Ooh, the problem with that was Malphite tanked the first turret shot and they didn't completely drop aggro before Olaf went in. So he went in with an already stacked turret. Shen got the shield from his passive and was able to pretty much just get the grass proc, which blocked the first auto from killing him. Olaf thought he had it, so he canceled his second auto attack thinking he already got it and wanted to just walk away. So it was actually a really good play by Padawan, knowing the strengths of Shen to win that dive. Yeah, he did. He turned around and auto with the grasp to heal him back up to block that first auto attack from Olaf, which is why he started walking away and canceled the auto.
You know, he probably also got the barrier on himself off of that auto to additionally save him off that. That is just, you don't see a lot of things very often, but that felt like it was a thread hanging there. Once again, by the way, Ronan finds himself with the favor of Flash, finds himself also having to abuse it and use it again.
Yeah, they say they're proactive across the map. They're definitely proactive across the map. Shen been on an island this whole game, and he's still beating Malphite in CS by 20. He's got ultimate. He's got teleport. Both are available, so if he pushes this in, maybe makes a play around this Drake, it could be in his favor. Malphite's teleport is coming up right now. And if he's there early, the unstoppable force is a lot more key to these team fights than a Stand United from Shen can be if he hits 3, 4, 5 targets, especially with Orianna's Shockwave.
And you got to be thinking, pulling back here, Darkside, this is their first game of the night. They did not play earlier against Merciless. So they're coming in this completely fresh, and they're looking this good against Defy. And maybe we can talk about previously, they did go 1-1 against Degenerate Esports. I don't know what effect that has on this team in terms of how they're feeling about the night, because we don't quite have the information. I'd have to pull that through here on the side. But either way, that's 2 games under your belt.
Yeah, if you're a team that doesn't start stronger fresh, this can be a very big thorn in your side when trying to make plays, trying to communicate, maybe even mechanics. You know, they're playing in a tournament. We don't know how much experience they have before. They could have some shaky hands, you know, a little bit of stage fright knowing they're on camera, a lot of things to consider being their first game to pull up, but they seem to be doing really good. Gold on the Wukong. He's now tied back up in CS. He is only 200 gold behind Olaf, where Olaf started out so strong and promising.
Right. Now at this point, Dragon is up. Notice this. You've got Adrenaline in a great position this time around with the rest of his team. That's 4 for 4 actually going to be going up against each other. Breezy's on the side here. He can step in and go for the steal if he wants. Dragon's looking low. There's the Ragnarok. He goes for the kills instead. That Shockwave doesn't find it as the Dragon finds its way over, and then they collapse to take out Breezy like a cheese in a grater. Now Danny Phantom a bit forward here, able to get the double knockup off the ultimate, but he's punished out by Jin. There's the Dredgeline response to get the root and a massive shock up. My gosh, Darkside, they continue to chase this one through the Cyclone, just barely not finding Lemon Soda or Amethyst. The response from Amethyst is he gets the first kill, but now Padawan and Wizward try to see if they can finish this one off under turret. Let's hope they don't make the mistake again. Either way, 3 kills in favor of Darkside off a Dragon take.
Yeah, that was a very destructive team fight. We see the jungles shining. Both of them tried to make a very huge play. Wukong pushed really far forward into that misfortune to try and secure that kill in the end, died for it. Olaf tried to dive right into the enemy backline and died for that too. So both these playmaker junglers are getting a little bit overzealous. Orianna used her Shockwave to try and secure Drake and not to complement the Malphite ultimate. She could have had a 3-4 man knockup with the Aftershock combining with it. It could have turned that fight around and been possibly an entire ace if done correctly.
Right.
Still loses the Drake trying to cast her ultimate to secure it. Wukong dying for it. That's a pretty solid trade in my opinion for a team that was slightly behind. Now coming out 500 gold ahead.
You know, we talk about the focus there. You know, you bring up the Shockwave on Dragon versus, you know, Breezy Bay going for the backline onto Wizward. You know, that's not the separation you want to see, especially when your team relies on that wombo combo so desperately. You need complete focus in one area. If you're going to steal Dragon, steal Dragon. If you're going to engage the backline, engage the backline. You don't want to see those windows, those ultimates we talked about in, you know, early game pre-draft being wasted, you know?
Most definitely. A very common phrase that a lot of the high pro team coaches will say is it's better to play the wrong play together than to make the right call separate. And it really shows here. One person goes for Drake, one goes for a dive, one goes for a reversal, and it just backfires.
Right call might not be in Padawan's favor. He's still too far forward. Danny Phantom gonna flash to maybe survive just a little bit longer. Padawan with the E-taunt finding his way onto Malphite to get that kill before he goes down though. Ooh, Ronin here, unable to flash out of this taunt this time. No dredge line for him, though.
Yeah, some nice sidesteps with the phase rush. If Flash is down, Ronin still actually intentionally held the phase rush.
It's down.
Strategically hitting the Galio twice, waiting for the engage to auto attack.
Hold his flash, though. He goes right back in. Shockwave into turret, though, from Ronin here. Can he survive? Anaro punished for the engage there. Beautiful Shockwave. Beautiful.
Yeah, this might be the first game for Darkside Academy, but this one feels very intense, very, very fast paced. And both these teams are just going so hard. Even Ronin playing so smart, playing so safe, messing up that shockwave on the Drake, having no kills so far, just surviving this lane, then turns around and plays this aggressive reverse turn on Evo and Arrow in this mid lane and picks up that kill when she should have easily fallen there, strategically holding the flash, using the phase rush perfectly, kiting him out, waiting for that ultimate bait. Just so well played. And if we see that Ronin coming out for the rest of the game, we're going to see some massive shockwaves. I just hope we don't get another ult onto Drake in these fights, but Padawan just picking fights left and right. He wins most of them in the top side, even during a gank.
Oh, Anaro coming back for revenge, and Ronin got flash up this time. No chance on getting that taunt, even with Pub is roam there. So looking back now, we talked about Breezy Bay being this point of contention for ReDefy Unleashed, and the Olaf has respectively come up short. Now, I think he might fare a little bit better if we see the team kind of enable him with the Wombo combo. But as of right now, for early game pressure, he's gotten great control over that early Drake and kind of playing off the Rift Herald. But other than that, he's definitely starting to fall off, and we're seeing Adrenaline push his way back into this.
Yeah, he's sitting 1,300 gold ahead of Wukong. He just hasn't spent it yet. He's got 2,500 gold in his pocket. He's going to base right now. He's going to pick up Gourd Drinker. He's going to finish his boots and almost finish a second item.
Hi, Ronin. This is Ronin getting caught out by 4 members. 5 even so. All right? That's what this is.
Yeah, you can outplay one person's dive. You can outplay a gank from Nautilus, but you can't outplay a 4-man gank without flash, without ultimate, without phase rush away from your turret. And that's going to be a huge win for Darkside Academy when they have full pressure over this Drake now.
Right, and you've got bot lane there trying to contest a little bit, but either way, Breezy was not in great position. That's 2 Drakes now in favor of Darkside and starting to pair forward to what will be Soul. Infernal going to be absolutely just bursting, making that damage twice as absurd.
Yeah, I'd like to point out Olaf is still ahead of Wukong by a lot. So
Still time. Still room.
There's not a lot. Yeah, there's not a lot of objectives on the board, but both these teams are fighting over no objectives. So he might be able to pressure that lead right here as they look for a play, but he gets scouted out.
There's the undertow slow. Heroic entrance from Inaro coming in 4v1. He's not going to be stunned or slowed out, but that's a great charm paired with the bullet time. You get the full extent off. Danny Phantom unstoppable over the wall. Adrenaline too far forward. Going to get the response with the quadruple cyclone before he is taken out. Padawan super deep in that bat line, punished by Breezy Bay on this Olaf. That is 2 kills immediately in response to that engage there.
Yeah, a 5v5 for a bottom lane turret at 18 minutes.
Stay. That's the triple taunt response with the stun. Anara looking low, gonna get punished out. Pubcock's here now, the second one to go down. Wizward trying to play this out. You do see the Gale Force to push him further, but it's 4v1. Doesn't matter. Double kill onto Amethyst.
Yeah, very overzealous to try and defend that. This is 18 minutes. You have Olaf, you have Malphite, Seraphine, and the Orianna shields to stack on them. You can't live under this turret, especially with a number disadvantage. The Rift drop for another turret here. 3k gold lead gained in 2 minutes for ReDefy Unleashed. Huge. And only glass half full, we could say, for Darkside Academy here is they have both their teleports available to them. Danny Phantom and Ronin had to burn theirs to group for that fight. So Baron's on the board, no teleports available for 3 minutes. Drake's gonna come up when teleports come back up. So they're gonna have to do something in the next 3 minutes to really kind of punish that aggressive play if they want to do something.
We take a look back at that first fight and how the focus was off. This was perfect. This is exactly what you need to have happen. Beautiful encore onto that triple charm straight into Amethyst with the bolt time. And you discussed it in draft. he can get the full extent of that ultimate off and capitalize on every inch of that damage. And look at the damage now. That's the Shockwave Ragnarok we brought up, coming in full fruition. Double kill for Breezy Bay. There goes Adrenaline. Beautiful job. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we don't even need teleports. I'm just talking about how you don't have this teleport, so it's going to be hard to make plays. This is the time for Darkside Academy to make plays, and they're getting played on with this teleport advantage.
And now they lose first tier mid, and they're going to be actually giving up, as I believe, what will be second tier as well here. Just absolutely wonderful. I feel like everything is just coming true in this game now. We bring it up as a caster, and it's right. You know, praise me at this point.
There is another 3K gold lead grabbed from that play right there, picking up these turrets. The map is open. Olaf is huge. He was sitting on that gold, pretending to not be scary. He spent that 3K, got the Gore Drinker, got the boots, now has a Sterix Gauge on top of it. He's so massive. Malphite's where he needs to be. Orianna ults are coming in clean, and I don't even think I need to say how Seraphine and Misfortune are playing these fights out, because you're seeing it firsthand.
Wow, I definitely saw the Orianna in that last one. I mean, run it up, Ragnarok paired through a Shockwave. That was literally as perfect as it could be. A triple Shockwave into the secured kills for Breezy Bay here. I'm waiting for this back. He just cleared out the entire side of Adrenaline here. Comes back, immediately able to get the COD fields into the pickaxe. That's an insane damage steroid on this guy now.
Oh yeah, getting that extra cooldown for him, lowering the cooldown of his Gore Drinker even further. It's lowered per ability haste that you get. So the 10 ability haste on Caulfield is pretty huge. That's an extra 50 attack damage on him too. When he pops his ultimate Ragnarok, he becomes immune to CC, and he gains 96 AD, 45 movement speed, immune to CC. What are you gonna do against that with an Orianna ball on his head?
He's literally like a missile, comes in at you fast and hot, and he's gonna blow you up. All right, I love this. Look at this little death bush they're going with. Either way, we can talk about the absolute prowess that we've seen come back from ReDefy. Now, Darkside, they definitely fell short with the aggression and found themselves making a lot of mistakes where they bled out, but that doesn't mean they didn't find some success. Much of that found its way, though, onto the wrong people, in my opinion. You know, you see Adrenaline kind of get back into it with Padawan being the brunt force of where that gold ends up. That's not the Wizward Jhin. That's not Inaro on this Galio. I mean, I don't think this team to begin with had a lot of damage to play with as a whole. But if you're going to be running with this comp, you need to see guys like Wizward find their way into success, because at this point, it might just be too late.
Yeah, they're running a very hard dive comp with Chain CC, not really a full-blown collapse. Collapse would more so indicate they're able to get on you and kill you quickly, and that's just not happening anymore. Wukong can go in, he can land the Cyclone, Galio drops down with the hero's entrance, huge CC, 3 different airborns, but none of that matters when Olaf just runs through your team, kills your Jhin, and now you have 3 tanks and a Gore Drinker Wukong.
Padawan, when will you learn? When will you learn? Aggressing onto Panty Phantom there, gonna get punished out from a gank by Breezy Bay. We're both shaking our heads.
Do it once, shame on them. Do it twice, shame on you. Do it 3 times, shame on you. Do it, 8 times. I don't know what's left to say. He's playing really good, but he's just not on a carry to be doing this. Maybe if we can get in game 2, Padawan playing the Aatrox, playing the Camille, playing a Jace or Rumble or something, it could be a make or break for the team. But 5 of the 7 kills on a Shen top lane who keeps getting run down by Olaf is not really the play. They have a scaling potential, but it's going to be really hard to scale when you're 8K, 9K gold behind now.
Right, and at this point, that's going to be the last of the outer turrets on the map here. Now it is just the Nexus region. That's it. You're a couple turrets from Inhib to Nexus turrets to game, right? And ReDefy has went from being a little bit slow to play to the front here to just absolutely a wash. Much of that praise playing through not just Breezy Bay being aggressive, but the team playing around him, enabling him, coming through, putting the focus where it needed to be, and make sure this guy actually can get in there and punish through. Oh, Adrenaline, I'm sorry, but I don't think you can take that fight there. You see the undertow. Adrenaline's going to keep staying still, but I don't think he cares. There's the Ragnarok. No one's going to be able to stop Breezy Bay. He finds a kill. Hero's entrance to follow up as well. Going to get that knockup finally as Ragnarok is down. Danny Phantom just barely missing that one on the Unstoppable Force. A great flash from Inara, but at this point, does it matter? You know, turret's down. Inhib is next. We talked about Breezy Bay being quote unquote the lead star of this team, and it is really shining bright.
Yeah, he struggled for a minute, but he has figured out his tempo that he wants, running them down left and right, taking turrets, being at every objective, constantly ganking top lane, getting this huge CS and kill advantage for him. It's just very difficult to stop the unstoppable Viking once he's gotten rolling. You could wait for 35, you could wait for 40 minutes, but Breezy Bay is not going to let that happen at the tempo they're playing.
Right, and so now we're going to get 5-man back. Breezy was stopped out here. He does take a stop. I think he didn't realize he was quite off of that back there, so he's punished. You can see that Ragnarok come through. He's going to look for a kill before he goes down. Wizward looking very rough. Can't find that blast cone and is taken out there. A big shutdown in response, of course, but it finds its way onto Adrenaline of all people. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That's probably the 4th or 5th time this game we've been looking at something, said, all right, he's dead, and then boop, they get a kill before they go down. You're like, well, we were expecting Darkside Academy to be the one. That's the aggressive team, making all the plays, you know, shining through, pushing forward, and the Shen's been able to do it, but I mean, Ronin's done it now. Amethyst and Lemon Soda have done it in the bottom side. Breezy Bay just did it himself. When you think you catch them out, it turns out you're the one getting caught out. Shutdown Gold does come out of him, but it really goes to show that's a 1v5 with Shen's ultimate, and he still gets a kill through it. What about a 5v5?
Yeah, we've seen the 5v5 several times in the last 10 minutes. It's definitely stacked up against Darkside. And, you know, you talk about the aggression of Darkside. This is what they told us. And, yes, we do see that proactive nature. We see them trying to go for these plays. The problem is, with every chance they get, with every kill they find themselves into, there was a response from ReDefy Unleashed. They got something in turn. At that point, you're not really assessing anything. You can be aggressive, but that's not aggressive to the point of success. That's just drawing even at that point.
Yeah, I want to credit that too, as they've said, their long history. They stress the word their long history together. This isn't a team that's had, you know, half a season. This is a team that's had years together of playing as 3, 4, 5 stacks, maybe even with their subs. I'm not sure, but you can see they are on top of it. They know exactly what they're thinking. They know exactly what to go for. There was one mishap with the Orianna getting a little bit ahead of herself, trying to take that Drake with her ultimate. But besides that one mistake, every player has complimented each other.
Perfect.
Said, we're going to all four sit on Breezy Bay's back like we know how to do and just run it down with the Viking.
At this point, that might be the last thing on their checklist of this game, just waiting for the wave. They don't have Baron on their belt, so we could see potential clear that forces them off these turrets. But given the damage and the aggression and the engage we've seen from Breezy Bay every time, I don't think it matters. He's gonna be taunted out there. Isn't rude. There's the Ragnarok. Finds his way back onto Wizworld there. Unstoppable can't be charmed out. Great encore in response to the bullet time. Adrenaline's coming through the backline to try to stunt the damage, but he's punished by Amathos. Now Padawan and Wizward looking to get out as quick as they can here, but Breezy's back there as well. Finds the response onto Padawan. There's finally the curtain call. The last stand back literally against the wall into the fountain. It doesn't matter. That's first Nexus turret down. The team turns their entire attention. They could care less about the Jhin. He's back in fountain once again. Nexus ticking down. ReDefy Unleashed take a phenomenal game one here against Darkside Academy.
Yeah, and I'm curious to see if they played that well in their last set and went 1-1. How good is the team that they played against? Maybe they drafted this game completely.
Yeah, how's Degenerate Esports? You know, you bring up a good point. Either way,
Yeah,
who cares? They look great in this game.
yeah, that was very dominant. We'll see if they can landslide that into the next game. This is now game 2 coming up for Darkside Academy, so they have a little bit more prep time. They're a little bit more warmed up. Might look at the drafting and say, wait a minute, the enemy team ran a triple threat. We ran a 1.5 threat team comp with a tank Wukong. Let's draft something a little bit different and see how that goes.
Right, so we're going to be looking to see, especially as this game starts out, maybe how the position here from Darkside kind of switches up, especially as we get into game. I'm really interested to see if they keep that level of aggression, but maybe not find themselves in too many mistakes. Either way, that's going to be left up to the players. Our analysis is said and done. We'll be right back as we get underway towards the second and final game of this set. Stick around.